Today we're going to start looking at data representations, and the first we are going to look at is box plots. And box plots are sometimes called box and whisker plots. And it's a graph of a 5-number summary that consists of a central box from Q1 to Q3, our first quartile, our third quartile, and has a vertical line segment at the median. We also have horizontal line segments, often referred to as the whiskers, that extend from the box to our minimum and maximum data values. Below are the top 12 musical artists' weeks at number 1. Create a box plot using the data, and you can see that those data values there below. I'm actually going to use our calculator to help me get the data pieces that I need, our minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, and maximum. I'm going to load all of this data into the calculator, get those values, and then start building our box plot. So from a new document, remember, we're going to go to List and Spreadsheets, and I'm going to load in our data 34, 42, 50, 34, 52, 34, 79, 87, 37, 60, 59, and 47. Now, they said it was the top 12. So as I look at my list, I can see I did enter 12 data values. I didn't miss any. Good check there. I am in the next box. I'm in an empty box. And I'm going to go to Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, One Variable, and get to OK. Tab all the way down to OK again. And we're going to get all of that data, arrow up possibly if we need to see more. We need our minimum was 34. Our first quartile, or our Q1, was 35.5. The median is 48.5. Q3, 59.5. And maximum 87. So that was pretty easy. Just load all your data in your calculator, and the calculator is going to give you all 5 of those data pieces that are going to build your box plot. So on our box plot, we're going to use our first quartile and our third quartile to make our box. We'll also have a vertical line at the median, and then our whiskers go out to our minimum maximum. So let's start building the box. I'm going to start with first quartile was 35.5. We have the markings for 30 and 40, so right in between here will be 35. I go just a little bit further out and draw that first vertical line for one side of my box. Our third quartile was 59.5, so that's going to be very close to 60. I'm going to draw another vertical line for the other side of my box. And our median value was 48.5. That's going to be pretty close to 50 or so. So about here, and that makes our box from Q1 to Q3, and then there is a median, a vertical line at our median. Let's send our whiskers out to 34. Is not very far, right there, 34 perhaps. About right there, not very far from our first quartile of 35.5 on this line. And then our maximum was 87. If this is 85, it's going to be a little bit out from there. So there is your 2 whiskers. So let's look now at a already created box and whisker plot and interpret some information. We've got a box plot below. Question number 1, what is the value of the second quartile? So second quartile, that's another, there is a Q2 that we also call the median. So if you go back to our box, that is that middle vertical line, and we're going to say that's about at 60. Number 2, what percentage of the data values are between 60 and 70? So we're looking right in here, this area of my box. Now, the cool thing about a box and whisker plot is it separates our data into 4 parts, and each of those is going to be 25%. So from whisker to box 25, half of your box 25, the other half 25, and then over to the other whisker 25%. So if we're looking between 60 and 70, that is going to be 25% of our data is between the values of 60 and 70. Number 3, what is the range of our data? So we need to subtract the maximum and the minimum values. Our maximum value looks like it's about 80 at one end of our whisker, minus our minimum looks like it's about 15. Subtract those to give us 65. Number 4, what is the minimum value? Well, we just worked with that, right? Our minimum down here, about 15. Number 5, what percentage of the data values are less than 60? So here we have 60. How much of that is going to be less? That's going to be 25 plus another 25. From the middle of our box all the way to that whisker is going to be 50% of our data. Number 6, what is the value of the upper quartile? Recall the upper quartile is your third quartile. So as I'm looking at my box, that upper end here, so at 70, will be the value of our upper quartile, or Q3. Number 7, what's the maximum value? We already used that earlier to find our range, and that was at 80. Number 8, what percentage of data values are greater than 50? So let's see, here's 50. So we're going to use the 25, another 25, and then lastly, a third 25 have percent of data values are greater than 50. So that's going to make 75% of our data is greater than 50. Number 9, what's the value of the first quartile? That's here at your lowest side of your box is your first quartile value, or at 50. Number 10, what's the value of the median? We actually answered this question earlier when we were talking about Q2 or second quartile. This was actually the same question as number 1, just using different vocabulary. So you're looking for your median right there, your middle vertical box in your box plot there, 60 is our median value. So sometimes students don't like box and whisker plots, and I think it's because y'all see them very early on, and it's a lot of information. Hopefully now you can see how simple box and whiskers are. Your box is your first quartile to your third quartile with a line in the center for your median value, and then your whiskers are your minimum or maximum. Lots of different ways we can ask questions using a box plot, but try that out, guys, and Delta Math even gives you an opportunity to build a box and whisker plot on Delta Math. So try out those features. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see y'all in class.